that you choose, and those who ultimately end up on the cover. I think that's phenomenal. We're talking to Steve Levine, Houston Real Estate Executive Magazine. Recently, you had a anniversary, as my understanding, kind of a milestone in the history. And in fact, you were so kind to give me one of your magazines with 60 covers. Is that right?
Done 60 covers. That's right.
Hard to believe from looking at this, but because there's all these little pictures here, but there's 60 there, and basically showing us really a substantial period of time doing this good work.
In my opinion, it's really the who's who in Houston real estate. It's kind of the movers and shakers doing all the moving and shaking. And for those that don't get the magazine, they can go to Champion School of Real Estate. Each one has a wall of fame of their own of alumni and current clients.
Mm-hmm. 5 years. 5 years of providing really high-quality publication. Mark?
Steve, excuse me. It's the weather, I think. Anyway, I want to, first of all, the magazine is just the highest quality, and I want to commend your photographer and look forward to meeting him. And you mentioned his name before?
Michael Ortega. Michael,
come by my office. I can certainly use somebody that does this kind of quality work.
Mm-hmm. Really, it's a combination effort between Michael Ortega and my wife / associate publisher, Barbara Davis Levine, who does all the staging. There's a lot of work goes into every cover photo, and the two of them work very well together.
Well, what about the articles themselves? Are you doing a lot of the work here, or are you just taking all the credit?
Well, I'm happy to take the credit on everything, but no, I don't necessarily write the articles, but I do conduct all the interviews and have since day one. I thought it gave me more of establishing rapport and personal relationship with each cover story. The stories are written by 2 or 3 writers. Barbara's one of those. She does an exceptional job. Pika Khan, who's also a staff writer for the Chronicle, and a fellow by the name of Woody Stevenson, doing a wonderful job of writing stories. Me, whenever I do a story, write any article, it's got 3 exclamation points at the end of each sentence, and everything's underlined in quotation marks, just because I talk that way.
Well, I especially like, what you do on the covers. It's the kind of thing that makes you pick up a magazine. When you see one of them laying around, you pretty much have to pick it up. I found that to be true from the first time I saw one. So
there's so few of them are printed, because it just goes to the top 3,000 agents. There's 22,000 agents on a waiting list for it, literally.
Wow.
And they steal them from each other. It's
it's
very coveted.
It's very coveted, and it's kind of like fine gold in terms of your industry, in terms of how it gets around, and really, as Mark pointed out, is a phenomenal publication in terms of how attractive it is, and it's hard to put down once you pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a few now around my house, and I always kind of keep an eye out to make sure there's no realtors trying to break in and get it. But
you have a good security system, Kevin?
Yeah, I've had to beef it up. I've had to hire. Had to pick up a couple extra dogs. That have changed out there. But seriously, it's one of those things that, and in this era of distractions, it's hard to find something that can really entertain you and keep your attention, and this publication does a really good job. Before we transition to the break, and then we bring in Mr. Leonard here, why don't you give your phone number real quick?
Sure, you bet. Phone number is 832-419-2814. That's 832-419-2814. And again, the website where you can read Donald Leonard's story, as well as several others, and some YouTube interviews of real estate professionals, is SteveLevineMedia.com. SteveLevine media, media.com.
And that's your blog, is that correct?
That's the blog.
Yeah, and it's really a great mirror of the magazine. Provides a lot of the best of content to the magazine. It's great that you made that available to all those people who aren't among the lucky ones who can get their hands on one of the magazines. So that was really good on your part. Talking to Steve Levine, Houston Real Estate Executive Magazine. You can also go to SteveLevineMedia.com. Do want to mention again, you